The pilot. Your third flight, you move to the flight deck. Not commanding yet, but controlling the vehicle during critical phases. Ascent. Entry. The moments when human hands have to override the computers, because something unexpected always happens. Docking with the International Station requires precision measured in centimeters. You're closing at inches per second. Watching distance readouts tick down, making corrections so small the stick barely moves. One mistake means collision, debris, potentially catastrophic damage. Your crewmates are depending on you. The station crew is watching through windows. The entire mission hinges on getting this exactly right. Contact light. Capture confirmed. The hooks engage and suddenly you're part of the largest structure ever assembled in space. 250 miles above the Earth, traveling at 17,000 miles per hour. You float through the hatch into the station and smell the recycled air and see the faces of people who've been up here for months. And you understand that this is home now. Not for you, not yet, but for the people who live here permanently. This collection of modules and solar panels is the only ground they know. Your mission adds a new laboratory module. Spacewalks to connect power cables and coolant lines. Careful choreography performed in a vacuum where mistakes don't offer second chances. You watch a bolt float away during installation, spinning slowly toward open space. Lost forever because someone's grip slipped for a fraction of a second. Nobody mentions the bolt in the reports. Nobody talks about how close they came. The small failures get forgotten. The big ones get memorials. You know the memorials. Challenger, 1986. 7 dead because an O-ring failed in cold weather and management ignored warnings. Columbia, 2003. 7 more dead because foam insulation hit the wing during launch, and nobody could fix it in orbit. Apollo 1, 1967. 3 dead in a fire during a ground test before anyone had even left the atmosphere. Spaceflight is dangerous. That's not PR language or false modesty. It's mathematics. The energies involved are enormous. The margins for error are non-existent. And every system is a compromise between capability and weight. The astronauts who died weren't unlucky. They were representative. Given enough flights, deaths are inevitable. You accept this, everyone accepts this. The mission continues because the mission matters more than individual survival. At least that's what you tell yourself. Commander. 23 years after you applied, 14 flights total, more hours in space than you ever imagined possible, and now you're responsible for everything. The vehicle, the crew, the mission that represents billions of dollars and decades of planning. Your crew trusts you completely. That trust terrifies you more than anything else. They're going to do exactly what you tell them, even if you're wrong, because that's how astronauts survive. Authority has to be absolute when seconds matter. If the commander hesitates, people die. Launch day feels different from this seat. You can see everything. The countdown displays, the abort indicators, the trajectory that will either carry you to orbit or deposit you in the Atlantic. The pilot next to you is running checklists with the calm efficiency that training produces. Behind you, your mission specialists are strapped in and waiting. Godspeed, says the voice from Houston. The same word they've said at every launch since Alan Shepard. The same word that sent Challenger and Columbia toward disasters that nobody saw coming. The engines ignite, the vehicle rises, the weight multiplies until breathing becomes labor, and then, exactly 8.5 minutes later, everything stops. You're in orbit, you're in command, and for the next 2 weeks, every decision is yours. The mission goes well. They almost always do, because the planning is obsessive, and the training is relentless, and the people NASA select are exactly the kind of people who don't accept failure. But you know the missions that didn't go well. You've studied them, memorized them, internalized every lesson learned from every disaster. Your crew returns safely. That's the only metric that matters. But command takes a toll. The responsibility weighs differently than you expected. Every decision you make affects people who trust you completely. Every risk assessment balances mission success against crew survival. You spend hours reviewing procedures that were already reviewed by hundreds of engineers. Because if something goes wrong, the fall will be yours. The buck stops at the commander's seat. That's not a figure of speech. The debrief takes 3 weeks. Every anomaly analyzed, every decision second-guessed by people who weren't there, who didn't feel the pressure, who have the luxury of hindsight. You defend your choices. You accept criticism for the choices that were wrong. You learn and you prepare for the next command, hoping you'll be better, knowing you'll be tested again.